Of all the expeditions we run around the world, an expedition to the Antarctic is perhaps the ultimate. Nowhere is bigger, higher, wilder. A whole continent almost entirely covered by ice, the huge mountains, the challenge of the weather and the ice. And in true expedition style, we are taking each day as it comes, watching the weather, watching the ice, making the best of every opportunity. So many things happening, Zodiac landings, Zodiac cruises, kayaks, and in amongst all that, an amazing atmosphere on board. And could there be a better place to celebrate the holidays than Antarctica?
Here at Deception Island, this is one of the most unique volcanoes in the world. Most people don't think about a volcano in Antarctica, but this is a giant caldera, 7.5 miles in diameter. When this caldera erupted, it blew out the interior of Port Foster. A ship is anchored inside this caldera volcano. When you come ashore, you see these black cinder rocks that tell us this is a very active volcano.
I got a job with the British Antarctic Survey, and my first posting was here to Deception Island, and I was a meteorologist, which meant more that I was a meteorological observer. Every 3 hours you go out and you read the weather and you record it, and it got sent off back to England to the records. And I had 2 or 3 other guys working with me. We were on a base. We were here for a year, and at the end of the year, the vibrations that had been running through the base and the tremors got worse and worse and worse. And suddenly one evening, one of the guys had finished dinner and he walked outside for a smoke and came rushing back in and said, "BJs, boys, you better come outside. It's a bloody great atom bomb cloud at the other end of the island." And we walked outside, and sure enough, there was an amazing tall cloud, and that was an eruption happening at the Chilean base, although we didn't know it at the time. It was actually wrecking the Chilean base. And so that was a very, very start of a very, very dramatic night where we didn't know what was going on. The whole sky went dark. This was the middle of summer. It was supposed to be sunshine all the time. And it was pitch black, and at one time there were 2 or 3 different thunderstorms going on around the rim of the island. Nobody had ever seen thunder before and lightning in the Antarctic. And so the whole thing was just really going off big time. Wow, this is hugely significant in whaling history, because right from the late 1800s, whalers were based here and brought the whales back ashore to strip them and then feed the carcasses or the fat into the digesters. And slowly but surely, this giant whaling factory built up. And in the 1910s, 1920s, there was a massive industry here. With people don't realise how many ships, how many men were employed. You know, there's a complete summer industry for hundreds, maybe even thousands of people.
we're here at a large penguin colony. These are all gentoo penguins. There's about 2,000 breeding pairs, and they're doing very, very well. They're all sitting on eggs, and some of them we've been able to spot some chicks. Really, really very young chicks, so probably a couple of days old. Some of them look very dirty. They've been sitting on eggs for several days, even weeks. And now what they need to do is go and feed. Of course, they've been for a long time sitting on dirt, and they need to clean themselves up. You would see them just doing a little bit of penguin paddle, if you will, cleaning themselves up, preparing those feathers, and then go out at sea for a long, long time.
So here we are on Christmas morning in the Lemire Channel. It used to be called the Kodak Channel just because it is so stunning, you know, the amount of film that was run off. Now with digital it's probably less film but more images, just stunning.
Gentoos now. This is my own little theory I've developed here, but I look over there and the core of that outcropping are Adelie nests, it looks like, and on the edges are the Gentoos. And so I would think the Gentoos are moving in.
Surprised that penguins don't seem to be bothered by our presence. We can get as close as 15 feet from them and they just carry on with their routine. It seems that penguins feel that we're just bigger penguins, really, and as long as you don't interfere with their nesting boundaries, then there's no problem of having us around. Their big predators on land are flying birds, giant petrel and skuas mostly, and we have seen many skuas upsetting the penguins. The skuas are at their best right now because many penguins are sitting on eggs, and sometimes a very small
birds, and you'll see it over the colonies. They quite often will, initially they'll kind of crouch down and they'll make a sort of noise at at whatever's flying overhead, and that's their basically go away, leave us alone.
We're in the banana belt of the Antarctic. This is called the Palmer Archipelago. It's a bunch of islands off of the peninsula. We're a science station. We do marine biology, oceanography. We do some astrophysics research. This is pretty much where a lot of the answers about climate change come from. We measure acidification of the water and CO2 content and ultraviolet in the air. It's an interesting crew. They say you come down the first time because of the adventure, the second time because of the pay, and the third time because you don't fit anywhere else. But it's about half scientists and half, we call those grantees, sometimes beakers. We're not supposed to say that word, but and the other people are the support people, and there are people that do all the
We're here in Dolman Bay at the mouth of La Pierre Fjord. Here behind us, Anvers Island. Forward, Brabant Island. Dolman Bay between the two. Open ocean just out here. We've been kayaking, we've been Zodiac cruising, we've seen a lot of marine life today. This is a very rich area, lots of food, so lots of animals here in Dolman Bay.
Whales come to Antarctica to eat. These oceans are chock full of life in the summer. And humpback whales, in particular, are after the krill that are here. They can swim through a school of krill with their mouths agape, taking in seawater, pushing that seawater out through their baleen, and get a really big, tasty, nutritious mouthful. But krill are a little bit able to flee. So if a whale just swims through krill, some of them will escape. And they use a special technique sometimes to make sure that doesn't happen. It's called the bubble net. And what they'll do is one whale will circle blowing bubbles in a decreasing spiral that acts like a barrier. So those krill flee to the center and get really concentrated. And then the whale can come up, and sometimes even 2 whales or 3 whales will come up through the center of that net and get a nice big mouthful of krill.
see is you. All I see is you.